You know that feeling. You're standing on a busy train platform, maybe scrolling on your phone, just waiting. But have you ever really looked around and wondered what's going on behind the scenes? There's this incredibly complex, high-stakes ballet happening right in front of us, all to make sure every single departure goes off without a hitch. Let's pull back the curtain on that. Seriously, think about that. What does it actually take to get a 400-ton machine packed with people moving safely? It's so much more than just blowing a whistle. It's about technology, it's about following procedures to the letter, and it's about making split-second calls where there is absolutely zero room for error. So for the next few minutes, we're going to put you right in the shoes of the platform staff to see how it all works.
We're basically going to walk through a whole shift. We'll start with the digital tools they use for command, then get into managing the day-to-day stuff, cover that all-important moment of departure, see what happens when emergencies strike, and then finally, how they wrap it all up.
So long before the first train of the day even pulls in, the job has already started. See, a customer service assistant, or a CSA, needs to have a bird's-eye view of the entire network, and their command center, well, it's all on a screen.
And the most critical tool in that digital toolkit is something called the TLS, the Train Location System. The best way to think about it is like air traffic control for trains. It shows exactly where every single train is on the network right now in real time. It's the absolute bedrock for every single decision they make.
But here's where the human brain has to be ready to take over. What happens if that screen freezes or just goes dark? You can't just wait. The CSA has to immediately flip a switch in their head and go old school, picking up the phone to call the signaler and track trains manually. That quick thinking is what keeps the system running.
Okay, so once you've got that clear picture of the network, the job shifts to managing the constant movement of people and information right there on the platform. And communication, it's not just about being polite, it's a fundamental part of the safety system.
We've all heard that announcement so many times, right? It seems so simple, but that message is a direct link between the data on the screen and the people on the platform. It prevents confusion and manages how crowds move, because a confused or frustrated crowd can become a real safety issue fast.
But what happens when the change is bigger than just a simple delay? That's when you get something called a transposition. Let's say a train is running late and control decides it needs to skip a few stops to catch up. Well, that's a transposition, a formal, official change to the train's entire game plan, and it has to be handled with a very specific manual process.
The CSA actually has to handwrite what's called a transposition slip, and every detail has to be perfect. The run number, the new stops, the platform, the time. A single mistake here could send a train to the wrong place or have it blow past a stop it was supposed to make. This little piece of paper basically becomes the new Bible for that train's crew.
And to make absolutely sure there are no mistakes, there's one last crucial step. After writing everything down, the CSA gets back on the radio and reads every single detail back to the signaler. This readback is mandatory. It's the final safety net, designed to catch any human error before it can cause a massive problem.
All right, let's get to the part of the job that we all actually see, and it's arguably the most critical moment. This is where all that digital prep meets physical action, giving the train the right of way to leave the station.
So now the screens are in the background and the physical tools come out, and every single piece here has a very specific job. The vest makes sure you're seen, the whistle cuts through the noise, and the flags, well, the flags are pretty much the universal language of the entire railway.
And let's be really clear about the red flag. Its power is immense. During a normal departure, it has to stay completely hidden from view. Why? Because even a tiny flash of red is the universal signal for emergency. The train crew is trained to see red and slam on the brakes, no questions asked.
The white flag, on the other hand, means the exact opposite, all clear. Once the platform is safe and the doors are shut, the CSA holds it up steady for the guard to see. And it has to be steady. If it's wavering, it could be mistaken for a stop signal. It's that final, visual handshake that says, "We are good to go."
And this whole procedure is like a ritual. It never changes. Step 1, get in position behind that yellow line. Step 2, double-check that the red flag is tucked away. Step 3, do a final scan of the platform for any last-second dangers. And only then, Step 4, give that clear, steady white flag signal. It's like a safety dance they perform hundreds of times a day.
So what happens when that routine is completely shattered? When someone makes a dangerous decision or there's an accident? This is when years of training kick in, and literally every single second is the difference between a close call and a tragedy.
So just imagine this. A train is pulling away, and someone makes a desperate dash for it. The very first response is pure human instinct.
You throw both arms in the air and wave them like crazy. It's a universal gesture that just screams danger to anyone looking.
At the same time, the red flag comes out. This adds that official, high-visibility command to the frantic wave, telling the train crew this isn't a drill, it's a real emergency.
Then comes the sound, a single, sharp, loud blast on the whistle. It's designed to cut through all the noise of the station and grab the attention of both the train crew and the person who's in danger.
And finally, the direct verbal command, a loud, clear shout that leaves absolutely no room for confusion. So you've got gesture, color, sound, and voice all hitting at once in a rapid-fire response designed to stop disaster in its tracks.
Now, let's put that against a ticking clock. A kid's pram accidentally rolls onto the tracks. A train is due to arrive in 3 minutes. The response has to be instant. Within 5 seconds, the red flag and danger wave are happening. By the 15-second mark, the CSA is already on the radio to the signaler, telling them to hold all trains or even cut power to the rails. It's a race against time where the first few seconds decide everything.
Okay, so the immediate danger is over. The person is safe, the pram is back on the platform. You'd think the job is done, right? Nope. In fact, one of the most important parts for preventing future accidents is just getting started, and that's the reporting. Every single incident, no matter how minor it seems, gets documented with incredible detail. An electronic notice gets filed. A handwritten entry goes into the station's logbook. This is so much more than just paperwork. All this data gets analyzed to spot trends, to improve procedures, and ultimately to make the entire system safer for all of us.
So, the next time you're on a platform and you see your train pulling away safely, take a look at that staff member in the high-vis vest. Remember that they've already analyzed the data, managed the communications, and run through a dozen mental safety checks. And as that train disappears down the track, their job isn't done, it's just beginning all over again for the next one, probably just a few minutes behind.